This podcast contains paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, where I discuss how you can grow your business by the bootstraps. This applies to all entrepreneurs, from the person just starting up to the one that is already well established. My goal is to help you grow. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor. So, today I'm going to be talking about, again, something that's actually pretty near and dear to my heart, which is helping people find what they should be doing in their career to get them pointed in the right direction. What can I do to help you figure out what you want to be doing, if you want to be a bootstrapper, or maybe you think you're a bootstrapper, but maybe you're not, you want to talk, whatever. But today's sponsor is us, Atheoz.com. Throw a link in there. We do have the Finding Your Value package. It's entry level, $99.99, $100, and it's where I meet with you, do a little questionnaire, call you, talk to you, and see if I can't help you do a little bit of finding out what you should do as a career and which direction to go. Because I wish I had someone who knew what they were doing help me with this when I was in college and high school age. It was more of an aptitude test, and what you were good at, then that's what they told you to do. So if you go all the way back to, I think, my very first blog and podcast, or my second podcast, was talking about how Stan Lee chose a career or marveled it. I can't remember, but early on I talked about this. But today I'm going to talk about how life is kind of funny and how sometimes we think we know what we want to do, but yet the opposite tends to happen. So growing up, I had a friend, and he was wanting to be a cook. His dad wasn't a great cook. He liked food. He wanted to be a better cook than his dad was. So when he had kids, he could cook them nice meals. And so he went and he did study cooking and went to school for cooking, taking cooking classes, etc. And on the side, he did technology as a hobby. He was into computers and stuff on a little bit of a kind of a hobby basis. Now me, I was in college and I was studying computers and technology and website design, and I was heading for my tech degree, which I never did get, but that's another story. And I thought cooking was an interesting hobby. Now, I still think cooking is an interesting hobby, but it turns out I wound up being in kitchens and cooking as a job way more than my friend who wound up not cooking and going into the tech industry and is working as in search engine optimization. Matter of fact, he's the guy that has hooked me up with the guy I recommend for SEO for any of my clients. But why am I telling you this story? How I went off and became a cook for a while and wound up now doing career stuff, doing business stuff, starting my own business. And that all started because I was working as a cook. Not liking it, but I was working as a cook. Listening to books, listening to audiobooks. You can highly suggest Audible. You can always click on the link to Audible in the description. But the main point is sometimes we make decisions about careers based on what we're good at, based on what we're kind of interested in, and based on other things like money. Part of the reason I wanted to go into computers was it was the beginning of the dot-com boom. Lots of dot-com millionaires. It was where the money was. You can get a great job programming. This was before people were being outsourced overseas for programming. It was good money. It was interesting work. It was fun. But I never had anyone challenge me and go, hey, but what happens? This is great money. People thought I had a great plan, but do you really want to do this? Do you want to sit in front of a computer for hours and hours a day coding, trying to figure out why it doesn't work? All this other stuff. Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to have to go to school all the time? Every time new tech comes out, go back to school. Do you want to do that? Do you always want to be learning about computers and always having to spend a lot of time, money, and effort staying on top of your game? Because computers is a game that you always have to learn. You always have to be on top of it. And the answer to these questions is no. Don't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. And as I went through and realized that it wasn't just, Hackers, the movie, glamour and glitz and smart guys doing cool stuff, and it was sitting and staring at a screen for hours and hours and hours and having to do a lot of math and struggling with math, being dyslexic. Yeah, no, it wasn't great. But cooking was pretty cool, pretty easy. Doesn't pay a lot, especially if you're just doing, line cooking short, in a typical restaurant, not a chef. But which is why I got out of that too. But you never know where life is going to take you. But it's really good when you're looking at your life and you're picking a career. If you're a young kid out there listening to me right now and you're 16, 17, 18 years old, 19, 20 years old, whatever, you're like, well, I'm going to go into this industry because I need to be able to, I want to be a YouTuber. Why? Because I won't make a lot of money. Well, why YouTube? Well, because I like to talk. Well, maybe you should be a speaker, public speaker instead. Maybe you should, it helps to get somebody to look in and go, why do you want this? Look at your motivations. So, because sometimes the motivations of why you want to do something, and it's not just money. My friend, like I said, his dad wasn't the greatest cook, and he wanted to be able to feed his kids better than he did. And eventually he realized, wait a second, I don't need to be a 5-star chef to make a good meal for my kids. So he realized that, yeah, cooking is fun and nice, but he doesn't need to make a full career out of it. Something better. And I always thought it'd be fun to be a cook and work in the kitchen. And I started doing it and quickly came to the conclusion that, yeah, this is okay, but this is not something I want to do with the rest of my life. I'm going to find something different. And again, motivations, looking into who you really are. Why is it that you want to be a cook? Why do you want to be a tech guy? Is it just because you find it really fascinating and fun and it's something you want to play with? Great. Is there other reasons behind it? I mean, you got to really look into who you really are. What are your motivations? Could it be that people are pushing you in this direction because they see you having talent for it? Which might be a good thing. It might be good that people are pushing you in the direction because you have talent. Other times, it can be a bad thing. I've seen people who are talented cooks and great with food, and people are like, oh, you should be a chef, you should be a chef, you should be a chef. They become a chef, and then they hate it, even though they're talented. Or you're great at math, you should be an accountant. Well, they're great at math, but they hate being an accountant. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should do it. Just because you like something doesn't mean you should do it. And just food for thought right now for today's episode. And if you would like to help, you can reach out. I got a free 30-minute consultation. Then I've got the entry level. I'll help you find your value, find what you want to do. I'll talk to you. I'll look at the information you send me. And I'll evaluate you on who you are. I don't have an algorithm. I don't have a score sheet, points of X, Y, and Z, this answer, you get this answer. You don't get a point system. I don't go, well, you're according to this scientific test, you have a high aptitude in math. Maybe you should do this. No, I don't do that. If I try to figure out who you are, what your passions are, what your desires are, what you want to be, you know, what your skills are, and I will try to help you find a career that matches all of those items based on who you are, not based on some computer model, based on you. Anyway, you want to check that out? You want to ask me more about it? Check our free 30-minute consultation. Check our $99.99, $999 package where I'll send it and I'll sit down and work with you. Really wanted to help people out. And it comes from me helping kids in youth group and working with kids and youth a lot in the past. So check it out. That's the paid promotion for today. It's us. And just think about it. Should you be a PC guy, a computer guy, a programmer? Should you be a cook? Should you be a mechanic? Should you be an accountant? There's so much you can do. Should you go work in the trades? That's something that no one told me about. Maybe I would have done better in the trades. Who knows? Anyway, you all have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Okay, just as a reminder, we do offer a free 1/2 hour, no obligation consultation. All you need to do is go to our website and contact us through there, or you can contact me directly at my O'Connor Bootstrap podcast Facebook group or our Atheoz.com Facebook page as well. And if you would like to support this channel, the best thing you can do, of course, is to like and share and subscribe. That helps the most. Or you can check out one of our affiliate links. And of course, I do have a PayPal and a Patreon account, and the links will be in the description below. Thank you very much. You all have a good day. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast and Atheoz Business Solutions podcast. For other podcasts, past episodes, and related blogs, please check out our website at www.atheoz.com. That is www.atheoz.com or theoz.com. Until next time, I've been your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor.